اللهم أنت خلق. اللهم بك أصبحنا وبك أمسينا وبك نحيا وبك نموت وعليك نقول وعليك النشور. أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم إني أسألك خير هذا اليوم فتحه ونصره ونوره وبركته وهداه. اللهم إني أسألك خير هذا اليوم وخير ما فيه وخير ما قبله وخير ما بعده. أعوذ بك من شر هذا اليوم وشر ما فيه وشر ما قبله وشر ما بعده. اللهم ما أصبحت من نعمة اليوم بأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك، فلك الحمد ولك الشكر على ذلك. سبحان الله وبحمده. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله العظيم وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. زنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله العظيم وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله العظيم ما خلق في السماء. سبحان الله عدد ما خلق في الأرض. سبحان الله عدد ما بين ذلك. سبحان الله عدد ما هو خالق. الحمد لله عدد ما خلق في السماء. الحمد لله عدد ما خلق في الأرض. الحمد لله عدد ما بين ذلك. الحمد لله عدد ما هو خالق. لا إله إلا الله عدد ما خلق في السماء. لا إله إلا الله عدد ما خلق في الأرض. لا إله إلا الله عدد ما بين ذلك. لا إله إلا الله عدد ما هو خالق. ما خلق في السماء. الله أكبر عدد ما خلق في الأرض. الله أكبر عدد ما بين ذلك. الله أكبر عدد ما هو خالق. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد ما خلق في السماء. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد ما خلق في الأرض. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد ما بين ذلك. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد ما هو خالق. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وعلى كل شيء قدير عدد ما خلق فمر. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وعلى كل شيء قدير عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وعلى كل شيء قدير عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد مفتاح باب رحمة الله عدد ما في علم الله. صلاة وسلاما دائمين بدوام ملك الله وعلى آله وصحبه عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد مفتاح باب رحمة الله عدد ما في علم الله. صلاة وسلاما دائمين بدوام ملك الله وعلى آله وصحبه عدد كل. سلم على سيدنا محمد مفتاح باب رحمة الله عدد ما في علم الله. صحبي عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. وزنة عرشي ومداد كلماتي. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى صحبه. الفاتحة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على حبيبنا رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد, we continue in the reading of Al-Manhaj al-Sawi في بيان أصول طريقة السادة البعلوي, and the author of the book Al-Haib Zain bin Sumait, Sakin Medina, was he's very senior, at a senior, he's of a senior age, and they say that amongst the ulama, they say that Haib Zain bin Sumait is Bab al-Hadrat al-Nabawiyah. He's the door to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so he's been residing in Medina, and there's many challenges that he was placed in, difficulty was placed through on account of him being living there, on account of him living in Medina, and his classes, many of his majalis were to be stopped, but on account of him the ruling government, and but yet he refused to leave Medina, and in Titalan, the hadith of the Prophet says, "Medina خير لهم لو كانوا يعلمون." Medina is better for them if only they knew. And the hadith, "Man istata'a an yamuta bil Madinati falyaf'al." The one who is able to pass away in Medina, he should do so. So, so we met Al-Haib Zain bin Sumait on one occasion. This trip and then previous trips, alhamdulillah, and then he's despite his frailness and his seniority in age, the amount of bishop happiness that you experience coming from him when one is in his company, it's amazing. It's beautiful, and it is as if, even though he might not know the person, but it's as if he's more excited to see you than that you are to see him. And this is one of the traits of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Maybe despite his illness or his illness or his being frail, when someone is excited, then he doesn't turn away the person, his excitement, he doesn't break his excitement. And no two Muslim brothers meet except that the one who is most beloved to Allah is the one who is more happier to meet his brother. The one who is most beloved to Allah from the two is the one who has the most happiness for meeting his brother. ما التقى مؤمنان إلا كان أحبهما إلى الله أكثرهما بشرا بصاحبه. So the one who, between the two Muslims that meet each other, the one who's more excited to meet the other, he's the one who's more beloved to Allah in that instant. Right, so we continue. في فضل الدعوة إلى الله, the virtue of calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we mentioned that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, الخلق كلهم عيال الله وأحبهم إلى الله أنفعهم لعياله, that the creation are all the dependents of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and those who are most beloved to Allah are those who are most beneficial to his dependents. So we can continue. In Imam al-Haddad, he says, قال سيدنا قطب الإرشاد عبد الله بن الحداد رضي الله عنه: ولا يستطيع أحد أن ينفع خلق الله بمثل دعوتهم إلى باب الله تعالى بتعريفهم بما يجب عليهم من التوحيد والطاعة وتذكيرهم بآياته وآلائه وتبشيرهم برحمته وتحذيرهم من سخطه الواقع للمتعرضين له من الكافرين والفاسقين. انتهى. Imam al-Haddad, he says that no one is able to benefit the creation of Allah as how one is able to benefit them by calling them or inviting them to the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. بتعريفهم ما يجب عليهم من التوحيد والطاعة وتذكيرهم بآياته وآلائه وتبشيرهم برحمته وتحذيرهم من سخطه, and to inform them about what is necessary for them in terms of the ta'ah, the obedience, the oneness of Allah, the belief in Allah, the obedience to Allah, reminding them about Allah's signs and His blessings, giving them glad tidings about Allah's mercy, and warning them of His anger for those who disobey Him from the kafirin and the fasiqin. This words of Imam al-Haddad, he says, none is able to benefit the creation of Allah as much as the one who benefits them by reminding them about Allah, or as much as the one who benefits them by inviting them and putting them at the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why this is important is because Imam al-Haddad places in context that there are many ways that you can benefit people. There are many ways that you can benefit creation. But know that by far the best way in which you are able to benefit the creation of Allah is by taking them and putting them on the door of Allah ta'ala. Putting them in front of Allah's door. That is the best way that you are able to benefit. And he says, وقال بعضهم, some of them said, من أجل الرتب منفعة الناس في دينهم ودنياهم. He says, from amongst the best ranks or the best manners in which one is able to benefit humans or creation is to be of benefit to them in the deen and the dunya. To be of benefit to them in the deen and the dunya. He says, وَالنَّفْعُ فِي الدِّينِ أَهَمُّ وَأَقْدَمُ مِنَ النَّفْعِ فِي الدُّنْيَا. He says, although benefiting people in relation to the deen is more important and it is preferred than benefiting them with regards to the dunya. وَالْكُلُّ مَطْلُوبٌ وَمَرْغُوبٌ فِيهِ جِدًّا. However, both of it is needed and is required. Okay. This is a very important point because it explains a lot of things and it crystallizes sometimes we have concepts within our mind, the things that we battle with. How do we deal with it? So he says, min ajalli, from amongst the best ways in which you are able to benefit people is benefiting them in the deen and the dunya. Being of benefit to them in the deen and the dunya. However, there should be no doubt that benefiting them in the deen, it is more important and it takes preference over benefiting people in the dunya. But both is much needed and required. If you read this with the words of Imam al-Haddad, we come to understand that how do you understand al-khalqu kulluhum iyalullah? The Prophet ﷺ says that creation is they are all Allah's dependents. And the most beloved to Allah are those who are most beneficial to His dependents. How does one understand this in context? Is that benefiting Allah's creation therefore is of different levels. There are different levels. The best level in which you are able to benefit Allah's creation is by giving them or by placing them in front of Allah's door. And there are secondary methods. However, when it relates to benefiting them in the deen, then that takes preference, or that is better than a person who benefits them when it relates to the dunya only. And the person that is better than both of them is the one who is able to benefit his creation in relation to the deen and the dunya. So you have a person benefiting Allah's creation by giving them that which would aid them in the deen only. And then you have those who benefit creation when it relates to the dunya only. And better than the two of them is the ones who are able to combine between the two, that he helps them in the deen, and he also helps them in the dunya. Why I say this is important is that our teachers, the masters of Asad al-Ba'alawi, they basically perfected this concept. Wherein they are able to, the ilm is in its place. So they're conveying the deen, they are enlightening people through ilm, through spiritual wayfaring, connecting them to Allah, taking them and placing them on the door step of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even one of the famous videos that made it now after the demise of Al-Habib Abu Bakr Al-Adani Al-Mashhur, one of the videos that made its rounds on social media is where it was part of a lecture where he says, "اعطني قلبك أوصلك لربك." He says, "Give me your heart." It was in a lecture. So part of the lecture, I listened to the lecture before he passed away, and the context with this, he was saying that we don't want money. We, the family of the Prophet, we don't need money from you. We don't need you to give us your wealth. We need one thing from you. Give us your heart and we will take you to Allah. Give us your heart and we will take you to Allah. And this is only a person who's wasi. Only a wasi can connect others. Someone who's rich is able to take others to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is what they've perfected in terms of deen, ilm, in terms of tasawwuf, spiritual wayfaring. However, if you look in their lives, you see that their lives are not void of assisting people in their dunya as well. Despite the programs that are packed, it's full, people come to them all the time with their needs. Now you might think that how does a person, how do you balance between this and that thing? And it's possible. وَإِنَّهُ like the Prophet says, وَإِنَّهُ لَيَسِيرٌ عَلَى مَنْ يَسَّرَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. But I've witnessed on more than one occasion people, like we sitting in the company of the teachers, once in the company of Philander, actually more than once, and then people, guests are coming to greet him and ask him questions, students are coming to ask him, delegations, and then from that people that comes to ask him are actually people that's coming to ask for money. And it happened I remember once in PE, we people came to the home where Habib was living in, and they were asking him, and the gathering went on for long, and then Habib gave advices, and people sat afterwards, and they brought, the meal was finished, the dessert came, the tea, and the people were sitting, and it was like late at night already, and they're sitting, and they're asking, each one is asking the question. And then there's one guy who's like speaking very long to Habib. Speaking. And some of the students like wanted to go read and listen. And then because we lived in the same house, so we lived 2-3 doors away from Habib's room. So when Habib stood up when the gathering was finished, and he actually went in to get some money. And then he called the brother in and told brother in. So obviously because I walked down the passage, because our room was in the same corridor, so I actually witnessed how Habib was actually giving him like some dollars or something. So some of the brothers are like, oh, how can you ask someone like this for money? But I mean, the point I'm making is that their life is not void of assisting people in whichever way they're able to assist. Many of them have, like so the Haib, speaking, they have organizations that attend to humanitarian relief projects. And I don't want to call it poverty alleviation because I don't believe that that's the way to alleviate poverty, but it's necessary nevertheless. The poverty alleviation in reality is a complete different thing. All you're doing is you're seeing to basic needs, but it's not going to alleviate poverty. By feeding a person a plate of food, or drilling a well, or digging a well, it's not going to alleviate poverty. To assist with basic necessities. But poverty alleviation is a system. If we adopt that system, then it will bring about poverty alleviation. And it starts within each and everyone's home. Start with your zakat. You need to pay your zakat. Starting with staying away from riba. When to stay away from riba. These decisions, if it's made by every household, a person stays away from riba, he pays his zakat on time, and he gives sadaqah when he's able to, then poverty will be alleviated without any organizations. You don't need an organization. But the immediate need nevertheless is required. Where people currently are hungry, they have nothing to eat, they don't have the basic necessities. How you can sit on the couch.
Oh.
Alright, so those things are required, and they have their share in that. Where am I getting to? Perhaps I'm taking too long to get to this point. You have people in the field of da'wah, in the field of ilm, who don't see the importance of these humanitarian initiatives and projects. And it is as if they want to undermine it. What we busy with is better. Ons is besig met die regte da'wah. And it's your place. You're busy with a great thing. And then on the other hand, you have people that's busy with humanitarian relief projects. And for them, they feel that what they do is the most important thing. Better than that is to combine the two. But if you were to separate and you were to give, then understand that there's nothing can equate to the person who's benefiting his own, a human being, by connecting him to Allah. And they will say, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ, who's better than the one who calls people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? There's nothing better than that. While the person, you're giving him a plate of food, you say, the person can die of hunger. If he dies of hunger, he dies of hunger. He dies, and nevertheless, if he's a salih person, he'll enter Jannah. Right? If he's a salih person, he enter Jannah. So death in itself is not a bad thing. Death in itself is the manner in which you find yourself and the condition you find yourself in when you die. That is more important than death itself. And even when the person said, Ya Rasulullah, mata sa'a, Rasulullah, when is the final hour? He said, Mada a'datta laha. What did you prepare for it? Right? And they say, oh, yeah, death, and the final hour was important. And what did you prepare for it? Likewise, so death is not the problem is not death. The problem is the condition we find ourselves in, the ummah, when we die. What is our condition? So when a person dies, we're not being insensitive. But when the person dies, mathalan of hunger, right? He dies of hunger. Or he dies because he's involved, there was a gang related shooting and he got caught in a crossfire, and his death is decreed, He's supposed to die either by bullet or by car or whatever, in a stroke or a heart attack, he was going to die there. La mafar, there's no doubt he was going to die there. Right? So whether it is COVID he was going to die, whether it is non-COVID he was going to die. تعددت الأسباب والموت واحد. There's multiple manners in which death takes place, but the reality is death is one. So we agree upon that, right? We agree. The condition you find yourself in is what is important. So that person, when he passes away, and he passes away due to hunger, because he never had food, yeah, I have a responsibility towards him as a human being, that I must not see my neighbor. I cannot have food in my home and my neighbor is going hungry. And I will be answerable for that. But in terms of him, his condition himself, Allah will judge him based on how he lived his life. So the way he ends his life is the way Allah Ta'ala will judge. If he was a salih person, successful is he. If he was a fasiq, even if he died of hunger, that death of hunger will not help him in the Qiyamah. If he was a kafir, even if he died in a crossfire in jihad, in a sacred battle, and he was an innocent person, that sacred fight or that jihad will not save him and will not be able to take him out of Jahannam into Jannah if he dies on kufr. But if the person, so al-ibra is not by the person who dies or the man of his death. And those who are, maybe another example would be those who are being martyred now in Gaza. And Allah grant them Jannah and they would have martyred them. Despite them all dying, some they're dying on account of rocket attacks, missile attacks, and some was dying on account of bullets, and some was dying in buildings falling on them, and some was dying on the battle. All of them are dying at the hands of the same army, but all of them are not going to be in the same rank in Jannah. All of them are not in the same rank. There's those who are awliya, and there's those who are salihin, and there are those maybe who are but they had some shortfalls. They all died. Some of them may be in the same building, but they will not be in the same rank. They will not be in the same, even though many of them they are martyrs, but they will still be in different darajat because of the levels that they worship Allah Ta'ala with in this dunya. لا يستوي منكم من أنفق من قبل الفتح وقاتل أولئك أعظم درجة من الذين أنفقوا من بعد وقاتلوا وكلا وعد الله الحسنى. Allah says in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala draws almost like gives us the formula. He says, here's people who assisted Rasulullah before the Fatih of Makkah. They spent, they gave. And here's people after the Fatih of Makkah, they come to Makkah, they also gave and they spent. But the fact that both of them gave Rasulullah and they spent in his part, and we said both of them are equal. It can't be. Those who came before and they assisted Rasulullah at the beginning, at the early stages, is different to those who came in the latter years after the conquest of Makkah or Islam was established. And likewise, you can't draw a comparison, or you can't equate between a salih person and a person who's not a salih person, even though if they died in the same incident. Mathalan, both died in a car accident. That same car accident. Difference. So where does this leave us? So those who passed away, we make dua that Allah grant you Jannah the highest place in Jannah with our beloved Prophet Muhammad. They stayed and they abode in Jannah is already the condition, where they're going to end up is done. There's nothing we can do about it. What you do is we can make dua that Allah grants it. Raise the station. Allah Ta'ala grants sabr within the hearts of those who are going through difficulties. And understand that there is nothing in existence as that can equate to if you are able to assist a person with his immediate need, but more so his need on the day of Qiyamah. That will be the ultimate need. So the ultimate need is, we don't identify it. We don't realize it. We don't identify it to be a real need, but that is a real need. Standing there on the day of Qiyamah. And I'm coming to Malatai. And I need assistance. I need help. I know that there's nothing I can do. I can go back to Dunyana and go give a sadaqah, or go fast, or read some extra Quran, or. So that's a real need. But if Mawla Tahir assisted me in khair and in connecting me to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the dunya, so much so that now on the day of Qiyamah I see, the benefit of he invited me to a mawlid. I see the benefit of him inviting me to a class of knowledge, and benefit of it telling, I got a class in the masjid, I got this, come with me, come and go make salah in the masjid. I see now the benefit of that on the day of Qiyamah, that لا يدانيه أي نفع آخر. There's no benefit in the world that can equal to that. Nothing in the world. the scholars, therefore, they say they draw a distinction between the nafa, the benefit of a father and the benefit of a scholar. They say that the father is the one who benefits a person in his dunya, and the alim is the one who benefits the person in his akhirah. The father, though Islam attaches great value to your biological father, it does respect and ihsan, but equally the amount of ihsan and kindness you should show towards your teachers, because they, as your father is the one who guides you in the dunya and assists you and eases your passage or your path of difficulty in the dunya, your teachers on the day of Qiyamah are the one who ease your passage of difficulty in front of Allah. They are the ones who talk. They'll be your daughter, Rasulullah. And that is the importance of the silsila. I know, my thoughts are just all over for this morning. So the best of the two is the one who's able to benefit people in the dunya and in the deen. So don't say, ek is bezig met ilm. Hulle, they busy with feeding schemes. That is Haib. I'm busy with giving people ilm, or I'm busy with da'wah to Allah. But if you're to add to da'wah to Allah, assisting people, those are the immediate needs in the dunya. Oh, then hasal, you got the dunya, khair of the dunya, and the khair of the akhirah. Or don't say, this people, they speak all about Allah's mercy, Allah's this, Allah is that, and they speak about the day of Qiyamah. People are dying now. I am seeing to the needs now. I am feeding them now. People are in difficult position. People don't have food. And you want to come speak about dhikr and mawlid. It was better for you if you were to encourage people to attend the gatherings of mawlid and dhikr and classes of knowledge and coming to the masjid regularly and reading Quran. And with that you add your projects, humanitarian relief projects. But for the one to stand and criticize the other, but if one wants to draw a distinction, then the better is to connect people to Allah, to put them in front or on the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is like no other benefit of this dunya. Now, وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, I don't know if the concept was clear. Is the concept? I don't know if I got it over clear enough.